toward the most fulfilling life you want after 55. Be sure to sign up. And now, your host of the show, the Queen of Dreams, Kat Kanavos.
Thank you, Andy Asher. Welcome, all you bloomer boomers. So let me ask you a question. When was the last time you woke up from a nightmare that was so real you wondered if you'd really been dreaming at all? Or if maybe you were somewhere else and something just happened to you? What if there was an important reason that you had that nightmare? Could you possibly be warning yourself? And if it's a recurrent nightmare, I can guarantee you there's a really, really important message in that nightmare. We're going to talk about that. Hello, I'm your host, Kathleen O'Keefe Kanavos, but my friends all call me Kat, so I hope you will too. Just so you know, I have a degree in psychopathology and I taught special education and psychology at USF, the Fort Myers branch. So I know a thing or two about nightmares. And I'm also a three-time, yes, you heard that right, three-time breast cancer survivor boomer whose nightmares actually diagnosed my cancer. So, and that saved my life. So, I do know a thing or two about nightmares and how important they can be in your life. And I wrote about it in two of my books, Surviving Cancerland, which I talked about in some of my previous episodes with you, which was intuitive aspects of healing. And I used all my dreams that I was getting and my nightmares, yes, my nightmares, to help me survive cancer. And then my other book is with Dr. Larry Burke, who is the chief of radiology at Duke University. And that book is Dreams That Can Save Your Life, Early Warning Signs of Cancer and Other Diseases. And that book is full of nightmares that saved people's lives. So that's why I wanted so badly to do this episode 3 on nightmares, because they're really, really important. Welcome to episode 3, boomers. It's called Your Dreams and Nightmares with the Queen of Dreams, Kat Kanavos. And I'm so glad you're here. So last week on episode 2, we discussed why it was really important to remember just your dreams. We're only really talking about dreams. And we used Linda's dream to show you how important it is to remember your dreams and write down your dreams, because quite often our dreams, like nightmares, can be our inner selves working on something that's really bothering us. It's really important to remember that our dreams and our nightmares are a microcosm of our waking world. Everything that's going on in our waking world is often reflected in our dreams, and the way we are working through those challenges are happening in our dreams. So you can find all of my past episodes on Bloomer Boomer's website, bloomerboomer.com. Just type dreams in the website search bar, or you can Google Your Dreams with the Queen of Dreams, Kat Kanavos, on Bloomer Boomer in the past episodes, and they'll come up. So tonight, or this evening, what I'd like to talk about in this episode is why it's really important to remember your nightmares. We talked about in the last episode the 7 steps using the acronym SO DREAM to remember your dreams. Well, it's important to use them to remember your nightmares too. It's really, really easy to forget a warm, fuzzy, cozy little dream where, I don't know, you're in the woods, walking in the woods, you're hearing the birds, and the sky is beautiful, and you meet your best friends. Those are great, great dreams, but it's very easy to forget them. It's almost impossible to forget a nightmare. And that's one of the things that makes a nightmare so very important. With a nightmare, you've got a message in that nightmare, you wouldn't be having it. And it's a way for your subconscious, your inner guides, your spirit guides, your guardian angels, your deceased loved ones to get your attention, to shake you up, wake you up at that point in your nightmare and say, remember this, because it's so important. Like I said, our dream world is a microcosm of our waking world. So if we're having a recurrent nightmare, it means that there's a really important message in there and we're not getting it. We're not getting that message, or that nightmare would not keep happening over and over and over again. It would just go away. So if you're having a recurrent nightmare, you really need to write it down. Go back to my previous episode on how to read the 7 steps for remembering your dream using the acronym So Dream. Go over that. Get your dream journal. Put it right next to your bed and start writing down your dreams, but also write down your nightmares. Have your journal right next to your bed so that when that nightmare just kind of rattles you awake in the middle of the night, you can write it down, because your inner self and your spirit guides are waking you up right at that moment. So you won't forget that. It's really, really important to you to remember that. Here's an example. This was a dream that was sent in to me. Someone says, what does it mean in a recurrent nightmare if I'm driving really, really fast and I'm trying to blow my horn, but there's no sound coming out? I keep pushing hard on the horn to warn people, but the horn is silent. So think about that for a minute. You can imagine what a nightmare that would be. Here you are in your car, speeding down a highway. You realize you're heading for danger. You're trying to hit the horn on your car and the steering wheel, but no sound is coming out. In our dreams, and this, by the way, is a recurrent nightmare people often have. This woman that sent it in to me didn't realize how often we have these kind of nightmares, and they're very similar to the type of nightmares that we have where we feel like we're missing something. For instance, we might dream that we're back in high school, we have an exam, but we're forgetting where it is we're supposed to go to take the exam. Then we can't remember what locker we're in. We can't remember which book we're supposed to take with us. And then all of a sudden, we can't remember how to get there because we're not really sure we ever took that class. That's what this dream is similar to. Your car is your body in a dream, just like your house is also your body. In your car, in your dream, it's how you move from one place to another. It's also how you move from one situation to another, going from one dream to another. We travel through dangerous areas in our car. Our car or our body gets us to where we need to go. So in this dream, this person's in their car and they know they're going too fast. They know they're moving through their life. They're moving through this situation much too quickly. And so they go to blow the horn, but the horn's making no sound. What does that mean? If your car is your body, wouldn't it stand to reason that your horn would be your voice? Wouldn't your horn be you trying to cry out or say, hey, hey, try to get people's attention? So my question to this dreamer is, what is going on in your life right now that makes you feel so out of control? For a lot of people, it's COVID. What's happening with their jobs? What's happening with their relationships? Where are their friends? Are they ever going to get back to normal? Are they ever going to be able to see their grandchildren again? Are they ever going to be able to go out to a restaurant again and have things go back to normal? A lot of people feel like their lives are spinning or driving out of control, and they want to voice their fears. They want to voice what they're feeling, but nobody's listening because nobody's around. A lot of people are very lonely right now. They feel locked down in their houses. I spoke with one woman a couple of days ago, and she said, I can get through this COVID, but I feel so lonely. I'm in the age group that has to be very careful. And that's us, the boomers. We have to be careful. And so this dream, to me, if this were my dream, I would feel as though my life was moving so fast and in a direction in which I was unfamiliar. And at the same time, I would feel like I want people to understand what I'm going through, that I feel out of control, but I can't find my voice to express myself. And the harder I try to explain myself, the less comes out. And that's what often happens in a dream like this. That's often what our inner selves are saying to us. It's what we're trying to tell ourselves. If this were my dream, I would say, okay, it might be time to actually slow down. Just take it easy. Maybe the slow down that I need to take is in my mind. Maybe I need to slow my mind down. Maybe my thoughts are going in every direction way too fast. Maybe I need to put my trust in a higher power, because this is something that I can't control by myself completely. And I need to focus on what it is I want to say, to let people know that I'm in a little bit of a crisis here. I always encourage people to use mirror therapy. I use mirror therapy all the time. I used it when I got post-traumatic stress disorder after my third breast cancer. Yeah, I really did. I came down with white coat syndrome, and it was really bad. Oh my gosh. I mean, I've heard people talk about white coat syndrome before, but I had no idea how much white we have in our world until I went through that. Anytime I would see white, I would get physically ill. I would have to look for a trash can really fast, throw up in it. So you can imagine how difficult it was for me to get home when this hit me for the first time, and there are white lines on all the streets. Yeah, that was me trying to get home and not throw up in my lap. So I immediately decided that I needed to talk to myself. I needed to get control of my inner children who were tired of doctors, tired of needles, tired of getting stuck, tired of being operated on, and tired of pills and everything else. They had it. My inner children said, we're done. We're done. Anything white scares the bejabbers out of us. And we're not going to take it anymore. So the first thing I did when I got home, I remember I curled up on my bed. I was crying. My husband didn't know what to do to help me. And of course, he couldn't take me to a doctor for help because they wear white coats. And that was one of the things that started it all. I saw a white coat on a beautician and went and threw up in a planter. Yeah, I'm not making this up. You just can't make this stuff up. So I sat down at a table in a chair, and I looked at myself in the mirror. And the first thing I did was give myself permission to have this little mini breakdown. I said, you know what? You worked really hard for this. You deserve this. Your inner children deserve this. And they're expressing themselves in a way that's difficult to handle, but at least they're expressing themselves. And I spent the next 2 days on and off almost every hour talking to myself and telling myself it was okay. And do you know, I actually talked myself out of post-traumatic stress disorder by the 4th day. I was okay. I could look at anything white and not throw up. So my point is, this woman who's having this nightmare about her car being out of control and not being able to find her voice to blow the horn, because that's what that is, I would suggest mirror therapy. Sit in front of the mirror and talk to all of your inner selves in there. Remember, your eyes are the windows to your soul, and all of your inner selves live in there. They're listening to you. Talk to yourself. Don't worry about hitting the horn and talking to anybody else right now. Talk to yourself first. Get yourself under control. Find out why your car is moving so fast. See if you can figure out where it's going, and then ask for a validation dream. Set your intention. Remember last episode, set your intention to have a dream that will explain to you why you're having this nightmare, what you can do to work through this nightmare, and what the message for you is in the nightmare. Use it to your advantage. This is your opportunity to work on your inner self. Make sure you've got your dream journal next to your bed, because that's going to be your training ground. You're going to write down that nightmare in that journal and work through it. You know, our nightmares, like I've said before, our nightmares are really an important part of our inner self. We don't want to give them up, because it's the way we speak to ourselves. And when we're in crisis, we're going to have a nightmare, because our inner selves have so much to tell us. And it's not always just our inner selves. And we're going to be talking about this more in our 4th episode, which is going to be our last episode for season 1. It's hard to believe this is our 3rd episode, but often when we're in crisis, not only our spirit guides and our guardian angels come in, but so do our loved ones. They know that we're not in a good place. Our car is out of control. It's going way too fast, and the horn doesn't work. Let's hope the brake works. Sometimes we'll find that our loved one is sitting in the car with us, talking to us. So write down in your dream journal, who's in that car with you? Who's in that nightmare with you? What are they saying? And know that no matter what happens in that nightmare, you're going to be okay, because it's just a nightmare. Now, remember last episode with Linda, when she was having the nightmare of her dad coming in and knocking on the door in her dream, and it would cause her to scream when her husband would open the door and her dead father would be standing there. Remember, if you were in episode 2 with me, that it actually took her coming to terms with her deceased father, who had come back into her dreams to tell her that he loved her, despite the fact that he had treated her so badly when he was alive. And that was having an effect on her waking world, her marriage, her work, her health. All of those things can affect us. But, and this is an important thing, she started to realize in her nightmare that when she found herself in the living room, in the dark, sitting on the couch, that her dream had shifted to the nightmare, and now she was going to have that nightmare. That's important, because now that nightmare had become lucid. As soon as you are in a lucid dream or a lucid nightmare, you're in control. You can control the dream or the nightmare, because you know you are only dreaming, or you are only having a nightmare. And as soon as you realize that, you can change the ending just as she did, and change your life for the better forever. So it's time for us to take a quick break. And when we come back, we're going to talk about some frequently asked questions.
We will be right back with the Queen of Dreams, Kat Kanavos, and join this amazing journey with the Boomer community. Register on the website to receive the Boomer Living Letter and get member benefits and be part of this incredible platform that will launch you toward the most fulfilling life you want after 85. After 55. Let's bring it down a little bit. And now, let's get back to the Queen of Dreams, Kat Kanavos.
Thank you so much, Andy. So we've got some frequently asked questions.
Yeah. Can I tell you the story that I was telling you before we started?
Oh, yes, please.
Okay, my fiance and girlfriend Mimi is from Algeria and spent time in France and the United States, and she dreams a lot about home, and it's a kind of a recurring dream, I guess you might say, but they are different. Does that sound familiar?
It does. You would be amazed at how many people who are homesick dream of their homes, but there's something more to it than that. Like I said, our waking world or our dreaming world is an extension of our waking world. And what's in our mind often plays out in our dreams. And sometimes we just want to get a hit of home. We want to go back home just for a little while, even if it's only in a dream. It makes us so happy. It feeds our soul. However, Andy, what's really interesting about that is in the book that I wrote with Dr. Larry Burke, Dreams That Can Save Your Life, there were many dreamers in that book who would actually dream in tandem with people who were in their home that they left because they needed to get a hit of being with them. You know, that it was like almost going through withdrawals when they left their family and they left their loved ones and they left their surroundings that they were so familiar with. And so what would happen is we tap into this universal oneness. You know, when someone all the way across the world is in crisis because there's been an earthquake, it's not unusual for people who are nowhere near that site to feel really anxious, to actually have nightmares also. And it's because we're tapping into our universal oneness. So I'm wondering if your friend that you're talking about, her dreams are her tapping into her loved one's dreams, and they are dreaming in tandem.
Well, I know she watches you all the time, so I'll hear about that one. I do have another one here. This is from Nikki, and she says she dreams a lot about her mother who lives in Hungary. Now, she's not sure if it's homesickness or something else. You know, that's sort of it sounds like the one I was just talking about with Mimi, but I guess it might not be. I don't know.
Yeah, you know, I think, you know what I think's happening, Andy? I think that because so many of us right now are separated from our families because of COVID. I know that one of my best friends just came back from Italy. She hadn't been able to see her mom in almost 6 months. She was going out of her mind. And she would tell me that she often dreamed of her mother. And then when she got back to Italy, she said that her mother told her she used to dream of her all the time. I believe they were dreaming in tandem. And it's because we want to be with the ones that we love so much that we can connect through the dream world. We can be with them. We can walk beside them. We can eat dinner with them. We can share drinks with them. That happened in a dream I had with one of my best friends who died. And there was something about the surroundings that were familiar, but I couldn't put my finger on it. And it wasn't until I spoke with her husband that he said, I know where you guys were. You were there before, remember? Blah, 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 blah. And I was like, oh my goodness, I was actually with her. And I think that's happening a lot, Andy. We miss our family. We miss our friends. A lot of us are locked down. Those of us boomers who have health issues, we have to lock ourselves down. We have to stay safe until either this virus breaks or we can come up with an inoculation. And so we miss our family and our friends. And I think it's showing in our dreams.
Yeah. This is from a guy. His name is Matthew. He says he has a recurring dream about both his mom and dad when they were together. He wonders why, because his dad passed away 10 years ago, and he says he really misses him a lot.
That's interesting. When my parents passed away, as boomers, I tell people we become the orphan group. and it occurred to me when I lost my dad, because I lost my mom first. And I woke up one morning and I said, oh my goodness, I'm a boomer orphan. And we see our parents a lot in our dreams. And my parents are often together in my dreams. They're often holding hands. And let me tell you something, they fought like cats and dogs in real life. So I remember one time when I saw them in my dream holding hands and walking, I was surprised. But it's not unusual to see our parents in our dreams, even when they've passed, and they are often together, because I'm going to be talking about this more in our last episode, episode 4, because love never dies. And love can bring us back together through our dreams.
Yes, well, that's really, really wonderful, and things that I hadn't thought about, and it's nice to get to some kind of clarification for me. Do you have a second, and we can get you can tell us how people can reach you and so forth, and when we get right back?
Sure.
Okay.
Sure. If you want to send me some of your dreams, a lot of people send them to me through LinkedIn. You can find me on LinkedIn from my website, or you can send me a dream through my email, catcan@comcast.net, and I'll only use your first name. You can go to my website, find your dreams with the Queen of Dreams, Kat Kanavos, episodes on the bloomer.com website, or you can type into Google search the Queen of Dreams, and it'll take you right to my website, which is KathleenO'KeefeCanavos.com. And there's also a free dream gift for you on my website up in the top right hand corner, and it is my video dream 101 course. So those of you who are watching, you can watch the video on this dream 101 course, and it's going to help you a lot with your dreams. And if you are a writer, check out my compilation books that are published with Sacred Stories Publishing. The first one was Chaos to Clarity, and it's still in the top 100 of Amazon. And next week, Crappy to Happy comes out. It's hysterical. It's all about what we go through as boomers as well, and how we get out of it. And if you remember the Celestine prophecies, well, James Redfield wrote those, and he wrote the foreword to Crappy to Happy. And he wrote an incredible foreword. So if you get a chance, go to my website, check it all out.
Well, Kat, thank you so much as always, and we will see you next week.
Thanks, Andy. Looking forward to it. Remember, everybody dreams, but some dreams save lives. Good night, everyone.
Thank you, and thank you, everybody, for watching. Kat Kanavos, Your Dreams with the Queen of Dreams. You can find out more on Facebook, YouTube, and at bloomerboomer.com. If you like this, please like us on Facebook, follow us. In the meantime, you're invited to join bloomerboomer.com and begin receiving your member benefits. So long.